Disclaimer. Some of our content varies per video and may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, in some content, we are critical of the video games, books, music, videos, and other creators on the platform. While we are a group-owned channel, our opinions expressed are solely on our own and may not always reflect the opinions of those associated with this channel. We at Novakast do not condone any and all harassment, IG, cyberbullying, doxing, swatting towards any of the people that we may be critical towards. How's it going, everybody? Rob here, back with another video, and well, we're going to be doing another look at some Hasan stuff. So, between the video that I posted recently, as well as this one that I'm about to react to, there was a situation where Hasan was banned from Twitch, only for him to come back. And a lot of it stems from threats that he made towards a senator. So we are going to look at this. And I guess him justifying or trying to make excuses for what he did, or trying to deny what he said. Now, I'm going to say this before we begin. I want to say that I am neither Republican or Democrat. I try to be in between. I listen to both sides, and to an extent, if there's something that's stupid, irrational, or downright despicable, again, on either side, I will call it out. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get right into this.
What's up, everyone? If you're seeing this, that means I've probably been banned. That's right. Cancel culture has finally come for me. Oh my god, it's over. It's over. The free speech warriors, where are you now? They've taken me out, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. I'm done. A couple days ago, I had a conversation where I was responding to the...
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, considering the fact that, again, you are a person who, defends and attempts to rationalize what terrorists do on a daily basis. Actually, if anything, more so applaud their efforts on what they do. I think myself and a lot of people are shocked that you haven't been banned already. Just saying.
Republican House of Representatives Speaker, and I said some things. Let's take a look at what I said. Libs of TikTok, of course, posted about it. Here's what Libs of TikTok claimed I was saying. Hasan Parker just called for violence against a sitting U.S. senator. If you cared about Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott at FBI. This got 17,000 likes. This was on February 28th. Let's take a look at this clip really quickly.
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone. Nope.
Okay.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
I mean, that's exactly what was said, right? I mean, word for word, right?
Okay.
Hold on.
You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him a prominent part of the Republican Party. Now, that seems like a wild thing to say. Now,
I'm going to say this, too. Like, we're going to continue this, but I'm going to say... I'm gonna say I am for the preservation of life. To an ultimate degree, I am for. I do my best to not take sides. And my ultimate goal, my ultimate thing, is that all sides just stop the fucking fighting. And just fucking talk. That's where I stand with a lot of things. Because to an extent that like everything, whether it be Republican or Democrat, we've become so fucking tribalized. I doubt that's a word, but I don't care. But either way, people have this sort of tribal-esque mentality now, where if you don't agree with me, then you're the enemy. If you don't agree with me, then you should be hurt. If you don't agree with me, then you should be harmed. When really, that is not the case. Or that shouldn't be the case. And at this point, especially when, we are discussing or debating ideas, all we should be doing is actually rationally talking about it. I hate to pull this little card, but since everybody else does it, it's 2025. Let's fucking sit down and actually fucking talk.
Oh my God. Is this person calling for the death of a U.S. senator? Of course not. I was not calling. I bet if he plays the clip, he's gonna say exactly the same thing. For the assassination of a U.S. senator. So I went back to figure out the context. Here it is. Let's take a look.
Are people who are covered by Medicaid now going to potentially lose Medicaid coverage as a result of this?
No, look, the White House has made a commitment. The president said over and over and over, we're not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid.
I mean, if they say they're not going to touch it, then they're not going to touch it, right?
Made the same commitment. Now, that said, what we are going to do is go into those programs and carve out the fraud, waste, and abuse and find efficiencies. A couple of examples,
I think what's the issue with that? I mean, if to the extent if there seems like there's actually some fraudulent activity, then aren't they allowed to investigate that? I mean, as the government, aren't they allowed to go through and see what's wrong with certain segments? Like where the money is going, where the money is actually going to, which is supposed to be the people for their health. Am I right?
No. There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone. Nope.
That fraud is not coming from individuals. It's coming from providers. They're not...
From providers?
Tackling providers. They're not actually going after, like, false billing. They are trying to cut recipients. If you care...
No. I doubt that, but okay.
About Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would... Rick Scott.
Dude, you literally just said it. You literally just said it, but okay, pop off. Let's go 5 seconds.
Cut recipients. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would Rick Scott. The reason
you just said it, dude.
Cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would Rick Scott is because
you said it twice. You said it fucking twice. So in what context? I'm sorry, but in what context are they wrong when they hear you literally say to kill this senator? Where's the fucking disconnect? I mean, seriously. Look, I didn't say... Like, dude, it's there on the video. Well, I didn't say... Like, dude, it's in the fucking video. You literally reacted to the same video that you fucking recorded.
Does and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party is because he, to this day, is still known as committing the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history. They want to...
What was the senator's name? Rick Scott, I believe. Hold on. I'm just real quick. Okay. So, okay, so I'm looking at this. Okay, he did do that, but regardless, okay, you know what? I'm gonna say this. That's a shitty thing, okay? And I'm not gonna, oh my gosh. Like, where do I even begin with this? So, looking at that, yes. By the looks of it, looking at Google, looking at several articles, like just quick Google search, he did do that. But ultimately, I don't, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, I don't think it's appropriate to go and tell people that he should be killed. I really don't think that that's a good idea. That, and by the way, that's also inciting hate, which in Twitch as well as YouTube is ultimately, against the terms of service. Well, I mean, at this point, we don't know a Twitch, considering that they continuously break their own fucking TOS. But that's beside the point. Regardless, dude, you say it twice. You say it 2 fucking times. So, where's the disconnect where people are upset with the fact that you literally said that this guy should be killed, and you're trying to claim that it didn't happen.
Cut SNAP. They want to cut Medicaid. They want to cut the funding of Medicaid. They want to make it harder for people to receive Medicaid. They don't want to actually go after medical providers or the insurance companies or the nursing homes that are lining their pockets with major donations. Those are the people who actually engage in the fraud.
At this point, as far as we've seen, there was a lot of things that, at least in recent weeks, it's been uncovered that money that is supposed to be going to certain locations or certain programs aren't going to those programs. In fact, they're going out of the country for things that aren't connected to the people of America. So, in terms of this, at this point, I want to say just, let's wait and see what actually comes up. I mean, if they believe that money is being used fraudulently or being moved around fraudulently, then it's within their right. Just at this point, no matter who is, doing it at this second. And I'm sure I'm going to get backlash. It's like, oh, what? Dude, again, I do my best to be, again, not even Republican or Democrat. But it's like, at this point, if they're saying that there's something wrong, then for a second, give them the opportunity to actually see what's wrong.
It's not your uncle that's lying about their condition and stealing money from the government by going to the doctor or whatever. Okay, so obviously I should have used hyperbolic language, and there's definitely some ownership.
Dude, that wasn't just hyperbolic; it was blatant. Blatant.
That I must take. Some apologies there. I should not have said Mike Johnson should kill Rick Scott. I should have simply said Mike Johnson should punish Rick Scott, perhaps with the maximum punishment, whatever that would be, for defrauding Medicare and Medicaid for over $1.7 billion. Now let's talk about the things that he did in this process, because Rick Scott co-founded the Columbia Hospital Corporation, which later merged with a corporation known as Columbia/HCA, which...
Is it just me, or does it seem like the reason, again, what he did was heinous, but is the rest of this video just going to be him justifying why he said the things he said? Because if it is, again, Hasan, no joke, you're literally continuously showing us your character, man. And it's not good. Not good whatsoever.
Which eventually became the nation's largest for-profit healthcare company. Rick Scott, who of course also looks like Voldemort, did a lot of things. The company defrauded Medicare, Medicaid, and other federal programs. The U.S. Department of Justice won 14 felony convictions against the company, which was fined $1.7 billion in...
Okay, yeah, that's bad.
What was at the time the largest healthcare fraud settlement in United States.
So again, why does this why is this relevant of you saying that the guy should be killed? Like, why?
States history.
HCA was defrauding the government.
HCA admitted to things like submitting inflated bills and exaggerating diagnoses.
Why does this?
Reimbursements.
According to federal investigators, the hospital company systematically defrauded Medicare, Medicaid, and other federal healthcare programs while paying kickbacks to its physicians.
Again, it's like, why is this relevant to... Like, is this all he's gonna do? Like, seriously? Like, him just talking about... Let's keep going. Maybe there's some more... If we're lucky, maybe there's some actual substance to this as to why he, tried to, say that this guy should be killed. But let's continue. Because, again, I'm sorry, I keep pausing, but it's how I react. Again, this guy did horrible shit. Granted. But I don't think that he should be killed for it. Jail? Yes. Possibly jail if they convicted him. But ultimately, I would be against, the death of someone.
Over this, he didn't even get any punishments over this, and Scott's resignation certainly was fantastic. For his pockets, he walked away with $10 million in severance pay.
Dude, it just sounds like right now, it just sounds like you're, making excuses for your fucking behavior, man. And like at this point, like with you just continuously harping on this, like not even really looking into why people are mad. You're trying to justify it.
A 5-year consulting contract and
it's disgusting.
$300 million in stock and options. He is now the wealthiest member of the United States Senate. Rick Scott also in the past apologized, took ownership seemingly over his actions.
Okay.
Since then, in his endless interest in gutting all of these social safety nets so the American poor suffer more, Rick Scott has actually seemingly turned around and thinks that this was political prosecution, pure political prosecution against him.
No, I'm fed up.
Okay.
I watched what happened to me and my company. I've watched what's happened. I've talked to business people over the years, what's happened to them when you have political persecution.
What I was simply trying to say is, Republicans don't care about the actual fraud that takes place in terms of government entitlements programs, in terms of government expense.
Neither does freaking the Democrats. Both, I'm going to say this, both parties are shitty in their own way. I'm going to say this, I bet if, to an extent, people were, actually, wasn't there something going on with one of the, a particular politician and his son? In terms of, him soliciting with someone who was very young, allegedly, using drugs and getting business from other countries, allegedly. My point being is that, again, both the Republicans and the Democrats have their shitheads. Either side, both sides aren't innocent in terms of politics and how money is being distributed. Both of them aren't.
Expenditure. Because if they did, they obviously would punish Rick Scott. Rick Scott would not be a prominent fixture of the Republican Party. Rick Scott, who was elected as the governor of Florida after he committed the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history at the time.
$73 million. That's the amount that we know about so far that Scott and the Republican Party spent on TV advertising.
Rick Scott then went on to become the Florida senator.
On Sunday, a manual recount confirmed Republican Governor Rick Scott's victory over the incumbent Democrat Bill Nelson.
Once again, after doing insane amounts of Medicare fraud.
Elon Musk posted on X his support for Florida Senator Rick Scott for Senate Majority Leader.
This was simply the point. But of course, Republicans want to avoid this point. Asmongold, for those of you who don't know, is...
Oh, good Lord, we're going to talk about finally something different. But, again, for 6 minutes, this guy has just made excuses as to why he said the things he said. Like, no joke. Just continuously made excuse after excuse. Like, again, Rick Scott, with what was happened or what happened with his company and the Medicare Medicaid fraud, okay, really fucking horrible. But that does not give you an excuse to say that he should be killed. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And I'm pretty sure if the same thing happened with another, let's say a Democrat doing this, where they were convicted and basically being investigated for fraud, you probably would be like, oh, applauding them. Just saying, dude.
A right-wing political commentator. He does have some...
I don't even think Asmongold's right-wing. As far as I know, I don't think he's right-wing. I've seen a couple of his stuff. He doesn't seem right-wing.
Centrist opinions every now and then. I believe he himself actually is a big advocate for healthcare, likes Bernie Sanders, but spends most of his time simply sitting around and reacting to Donald Trump. He is now, officially, in my estimations, a larger right-wing political commentator than even the likes of Ben Shapiro.
I don't even think you can, again, I don't even think you can classify him as right-wing. I really don't think you can do that.
Well, very successful in this field. His videos reacting to Donald Trump get millions of views, more so than the Daily Wire could ever dream of. Asmongold also is the largest political content creator on Twitch in general. He's the largest political streamer now. He's double my size. He's always been double my size, but he's now double my size when it comes to political commentary as well. So let's see what...
Well, I think to an extent, I mean... I think ultimately because a lot of people appreciate... Like, it seems like... I would say with Asmongold, it does seem like he has a little bit more of a level head. Also, he doesn't associate himself with terrorists. Allegedly. Or applaud terrorism. Or make friends with terrorists. But then when it goes back to association. And, by the way, I am referring to the interview. And, no, I'm never going to let that fucking go.
But the largest free speech defender had to say. He actually voluntarily brings this up in a YouTube video called, What the Fuck is Twitch Doing? The YouTube video is from 2 days ago with 1 million views. The first 13 minutes of it is just reacting to the latest Ethan Klein video, who is falsely smearing me as someone who doesn't care about...
Bullshit. You know what? No. No. Bullshit! Dude, it's not... I always find it funny when people, like, especially with people like Hasan, that go out of their way and be like, oh, they're falsely smearing me. Like, no, dude. We have the video. We're reacting to the videos of you saying some of the things and doing some of the things that you're doing. If it looks like an apple, tastes like an apple, it's a fucking apple. Dude, you're... Yeah, oh my God.
About Israeli civilians or whatever, which is obviously incorrect, but we'll get to that perhaps down the line. He packaged that up with the latest of TikTok video to call for my banning.
Let me see if I can find it here. Like, I do... As I said, I do try to maintain a degree of neutrality with a lot of this stuff, and I try not to go too...
I do, like... I'm, like, the same way. I mean... I will say... You know what? I'm going to say this. In recent weeks, it has been, or at least this recent week, it has been kind of interesting because to an extent, I have rarely, for those who have been on this channel long enough, you guys know that I did a lot of commentary videos, mostly focusing on a particular content creator, and then periodically working on my Let's Plays. Those particular videos got a lot of views. People enjoyed them. But overall, as things died down with that, I just stopped. Because it didn't seem like it was necessary anymore. But periodically, other things came up and I talked about it. this, I want to say, recently, with hearing about this story, it sort of sparked that passion to give my thoughts and opinions on, different stories, different, situations involving content creators. And I'm going to say this right now. Myself and Asmongold and many others are doing the exact same thing, where we are looking at a situation and giving our honest opinion and our thoughts on that situation. This situation, of course, being not Asmongold, but Hasan being a dickhead.
Like super hard on it. I'll link you guys the video real quick before I get into it. And
he's linking the Ethan Klein video to his audience because, to show support.
Yeah, there's the video. It's the Ethan video.
Perhaps this is the
I mean, to be fair, I'm going to say this. I want to say for the past 4 years, I have been, I want to say, down the middle, leaning towards against Ethan on a lot of things. But his content nuke of Hasan was actually really well detailed and put a lot of things in the limelight involving this piece of shit.
Reason why Ethan Klein doesn't talk about Asmongold and his apologia for certain regimes of the past. Ethan, who really cares about anti-Semitism, of course. That's why he constantly comes after me, someone he knows has a long track record, alongside him at times, attacking anti-Semites and explaining to people what famous dog whistles are and things of that nature. But,
dude, you're in bed with fucking terrorists, dude. Shut the fuck up.
That'll be for a different day.
People are so ideologically captured, it's sad. I think a lot of people are. I saw this the other day, actually this morning. Where is it here? Here we go.
Hey, Dan Clancy. Time to wish us on another happy birthday song, you hack fuck. Anyone else will get perma.
Huh. No, I mean, that guy's right. Anybody else that would do this would get permabanned. I think he's absolutely right.
Ban on Twitch for this. This is beyond the pale. This is enticing your audience to kill a sitting senator. Don't people go to jail for this? This is not me enticing my audience to kill a sitting U.S. senator.
Dude, you're a public figure. You have millions of people that watch you. More likely, some of them who would actually... I'm gonna say I've responded to people who've had very, very unhinged fucking fans, and also responding to said fans. If they believe in a person enough, they will actually do some of the things that that a public figure will suggest. There have been situations where people do that. But then again, what's to be expected, considering the fact that this guy went out of his way to try to justify people being disgusting towards Ethan. And he just, makes the excuse that, I got millions of followers. I can't, I can't, watch every single person. When literally he could just tell them to stop fucking harassing Ethan Klein. Just a few sentences out of his day. Not even like a minute. Not even like 30 seconds. Stop harassing Ethan Klein. 4 fucking words. Literally.
That is ridiculous. Everybody knows that is ridiculous. The people that are complaining about this know that is ridiculous. But I'm glad that I was able...
Dude, it's blatant what you said.
To show you the context, the full context of what I was talking about.
Full context, dude! Bitch! We've seen the context! And you keep repeating it, and you're gonna more likely with Asmongold watching it. He's gonna repeat the same video, the same fucking thing we heard.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would keep Rick Scott, okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott. You wouldn't make him a prominent part of the Republican Party.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Again, dude, how does this help your case? How does this video help your case at all? When 3 fucking times now, it says you said the exact same thing over and over again. That calls for the death of a senator. You know what? No, you...
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Like, am I... I feel like I'm dying. I feel like my brain is fucking just... My brain, like, the brain cells in my brain are slowly just going into atrophy. Listening to the fucking stupidity coming from this guy's mouth. The justifications, the freaking blatant fucking lying.
That is nuts. And I've said before, there's a statute of limitations, but apparently this was yesterday. Yeah, this happened yesterday even. Oh my god. How's that not against the TOS?
It is against the TOS.
It is. And
yeah.
It is an open call to violence.
Yeah,
and
it is.
I would challenge anybody who thinks that it's not an open call to violence to say that exact thing about Donald Trump and then tell me if...
Yeah, no. I mean, he's exactly fucking right!
Secret Service shows up at your house or not. Really?
He's... Asmongold's actually fucking right about that. Go on, it's like, dude, if you tried that, if you fucking tried that, who's to say that, freaking, the Secret Service is just gonna show up at your fucking door and, blatantly, call you out for fucking, or actually not just call you out, but fucking arrest you for threats against the fucking president. You're fucked at that point.
It's very obviously a call to violence.
Yeah, it is.
And Twitch doesn't do anything? Well, I don't know.
Yeah, Twitch is... Mm-hmm. As much as I keep saying that I want to open an account with Twitch, I'd rather, at this point, I'd rather go to their fucking competitors. And if I'm lucky, they actually fucking keep to their terms of service. How things are policed in fucking Twitch is a joke. Is a fucking joke.
Well, if they've really seen it or anybody's reported it or anything like that.
I think Asmongold is covering this because he wants Twitch to see it. He's done this a couple...
Dude, either way, they end up seeing it. You got banned for it.
Times in the past couple of weeks, I understand. We are ideologically butting heads on Twitch. Asmongold and I disagree vehemently on a lot of issues, all the way from the history of Nazi Germany down to the fact that immigrants are not actually contributing to the American crime rates in the way that the Republican administration presents it.
Again, I'm not a Republican or Democrat, but dude, do your fucking research, man. Especially with a lot of the situations where, there's been, many people who came here illegally and committed acts of violence and freaking sexual assault on people. Again, it comes to be expected with a guy that, again, is a guy that associates himself and applauds the behavior of fucking terrorists. And by the way, let's get this golden oldie out of the way. I'm saying that not because they're Muslim, but because they're violent fucking terrorists. Because I know that one's going to be said, and that ultimately is not fucking true. It's not because they're Muslim. It's because they're fucking horrible fucking monsters that go out of their way to hurt, kill, mutilate people for their own fucking political gain. They're fucking monsters through and through. And at this point, again, I try to be for the preservation of life. And people like that are disgusting. They really are.
They're not destroying our culture in the way that Asmongold approaches the subject matter. There's plenty of disagreements there, and I think that he's doing this deliberately, I will say.
I mean, whether it was deliberate or not, I mean, he's just responding to the story. I mean, you can try to claim that he's doing it deliberately, but in reality, it's an important story, considering the fact that, again, you made a call to action to kill a senator. There's no sugarcoating that. It's, again, blatant on what you were doing.
Effort to, shit stir a little bit and try to get me banned, which worked.
The clip's too short. Maybe it's out of context. I hope so. I definitely do. Hopefully.
It wasn't even out of context, dude.
It's out of context. How are you gonna...
Now, once he said this, does Asmongold go back and seek out the context? No, he doesn't.
Dude, there's you said the exact same thing that the video that the other people posted. There was no,
Instead, he follows through, basically packaging this as a Hasan is a radical who must be banned. It's a joke, Lamau, he responds to.
Would you tell that joke about Donald Trump?
I think people would tell way crazier jokes about Donald Trump, and people have told way crazier jokes about Donald Trump. My statement was hyperbolic. That much is obvious.
I don't even think that was a joke, dude. That is, I'm going to say this. That is, especially when it comes to politics, too. That is the lamest fucking excuse in that situation. Especially if you know, that you did something wrong. It was just a joke. It was just, no. Again, call to action. Not a fucking joke. Really isn't.
Clear. But the intention of it was not a call to violence directly against a sitting senator, but instead
yes, it was
to show the hypocrisy of the Republican Party in terms of how
bullshit.
They truly care about Medicare and Medicaid fraud, because that
bullshit.
happens at the point of the provider and not necessarily in the point of the recipients.
Bullshit.
And that it's actually your grandparents that are stealing from Medicare and not people like Rick Scott. Because
bullshit.
People like Rick Scott either.
Again, it just seems like you're making excuses for what you said. It really is.
Fund the Republican Party and oftentimes the Democratic Party as well, or they sometimes run for office as Republicans.
Rick Scott has won re-election to the United States Senate. Here are the numbers.
That's the point. Now, should the likes of Asmongold seek out further context? I think yes. I think when you have millions of people watching your videos, it would be nice to at least inform them of what the true context is. And now that...
Dude, I think again, it's blatant what you said. Because you show, the video was, especially when you're showing, again, Asmongold reacting to it, and you showed what the full context was, it's very clear what you said. It wasn't cut. It was word for word what you said. That is a call to action.
If this context exists, will Asmongold watch this video? Will he go back and say, hey, my bad? Maybe. I'll be honest. Perhaps he will do that. We shall see.
Donald Trump didn't commit Medicare fraud, but yes, if he did, then yes. Okay, so then no.
He then follows up with another tweet of mine. This isn't Hasan's only first foray into political violence. This was the weapon used to assassinate Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Archived link and reply to his now deleted post. Well, I didn't delete it. Twitter forced me to delete this.
I'm calling bullshit on that one.
But I'll tell you this, it's not the first time. This is the second time. No joke. Yes, neither of these, by the way, have resulted in any sort of action from Twitch at all. Your Reddit advocated for killing too. Sorry for spam. Yeah, but here's the difference, right? When did my Reddit advocate for killing people? When did this happen? And also, when did I advocate for it?
He also then, to further push the narrative that I am a radical, a scary radical who advocates for violence, he shows this tweet. Briefly, my old tweet that Twitter actually forced me to ban.
I'm still calling bullshit on that.
Which is a tweet where I, quote, retweeted sitting U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, who was advocating to kill peaceful pro-Palestinian demonstrators, all the way from April 16th, 2024, almost an entire year ago, where I famously, quote, retweeted the doohickey, or I guess a meme.
Okay, this, I'm trying to read this. This isn't Hasan's first, okay, into political violence. This was the weapon used to assassinate Japanese PM Shinzo Abe. How was Twitch okay with this? Let me guess. 48-hour suspension at max. Anybody else would be permanent ban. And no, that guy's right. The guy's exactly right. Anybody else in this situation would be permanent banned.
Of a doohickey that was responsible for the assassination of Shinzo Abe. Now, of course, this wasn't serious. I failed. I did this in response to a sitting U.S. senator who had previously in the New York Times written about executing Black Lives Matter protesters by using the military, and this time around, April 15th, was encouraging people. I'm going to read you his words. Senator Tom Cotton said this: I encourage...
Okay, I encourage people to get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic. Take matters into your own hands to get them out of the way. Did he actually, I mean... So, I want to say that this is a little bit different. I mean, he doesn't say to kill people. I mean, we're dealing with the same situation with people that are part of the freaking environmental protests, where they sit in the middle of the fucking road and act like a complete fucking nuisance. I mean, and people, especially people who have a day-to-day life, going to work, having to go to the hospital, etc. And you have people that are, again, being a fucking nuisance. I mean, do they just sit there and let people, continue to, just disrupt daily life? And again, looking at this, he doesn't say to kill people. He just says take matters into your own hands. Now, granted, that could be a situation involved, like, that could be taken into any context, but me personally, I don't think that in this tweet, he basically was saying to kill people, which is what Hasan is trying to imply.
Urge people who get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic. Take matters into your own hands to get them out of the way. It's time to put an end to this nonsense. This was, of course, a direct call to violence from...
No, it wasn't. You're so full of shit. You are so full of shit. If anything, trying to move people out of the way, or at least trying to ask them to move out of the way. Again, that could be taken either way, but me personally, I don't fully believe that was a call to violence. I believe that there was more to that tweet, but Hasan, I think, is being blatantly dishonest and is immediately just, calling it as a call to violence to try to justify what he said. Also, this whole thing, it goes to show how disingenuous he is by claiming, oh, one guy did this, so I am fully justified to say this. Like, no, fucker, you are not allowed to do that. Just because again, looking at the tweet, I don't believe he's the guy's making a call to violence. But either way, just because one person says it does not automatically give you justification to do the same thing. It's stupid.
Sitting senator, a direct call to violence against peaceful protesters
Bullshit.
engaging in an act of civil disobedience.
Were they peaceful? Let's see. Oh my gosh. I at this point I doubt I fully doubt what his son is saying is actually true.
If something like this happened in Arkansas on a bridge there, let's just say I think there'd be a lot of very wet criminals that have been tossed overboard, not by law enforcement, but by the people whose road they're blocking.
So he then doubled down on it and said, we do things differently around these parts. I mean, he is. He's advocating for a direct call for violence. I jokingly quote retweeted that statement with the doohickey.
So, I mean, either way, even if that were the case, that doesn't give you justification to do the same, dude. It really doesn't. There's a saying, be better. Be better than the people that you're against. Not be the same. And go above and beyond.
But of course that was apparently a bridge too far as well for Asmongold. I'm sorry. I've offended Asmongold.
I mean, let's be honest here. Again, you approve the ethics of terrorists, dude. I mean, it goes without saying, you know, your sort of mentality.
Abilities. Of course, no comments on Tom Cotton, a sitting U.S. senator, actively urging his constituents to go out and kill peaceful demonstrators who are, dare I say, peacefully demonstrating against a genocide. Well, make no mistake, it's most likely that Asmongold is simply responding to the things that he sees in his chat. Having said that,
I mean, at this point, I'm just recording a video. I mean, looking at some of the things you said, I mean, again, what that one guy said in his tweet could go either way. But I don't fully agree that it's a call to violence. What you said, which, by the way, was shown 3 times. 3 times. No, that was blatant. That was blatant call to violence.
Wanted you guys to see the full context of the
yeah, the full context
for people to
the full context that we already saw.
Ridiculous. I think that justice should be served, however, and justice has not been served against Rick Scott in this case. Justice rarely ever gets served against rich people who exploit others, against rich people who
pot meat kettle
fraud the federal government. You get a $10 million care package with $300 million in stock options for defrauding.
You know what? I'm going to say this. There's another type of fraud, and that's the fraud of ideals. We have individuals like not Asmongold. I don't know why I said Asmongold, but people like Hasan, who again continuously and blatantly applauds, approves, and tries to justify the actions of people who are terrorists. And I think, in a sense, you know, trying to claim that these actions are okay is fraudulent and blatant and just completely fucking disgusting. Me personally, I mean, again, looking at some of the evidence shown, thanks to, videos from H3 as well as, you know, June the King, who, again, I want to say, especially like the June the King video, he does his best to be as cordial as fucking possible. And even then, there's not much good that can actually be fucking said with this piece of shit. So, there are me personally, there are multiple types of fraud. And I think the biggest threat to a lot of people is the fraud of ideals. And this guy is an example of fraudulent ideas.
Poor people that absolutely need this medical care. And then Republicans will turn around and act like the real fraud is happening at the point of the recipients and not the point of the providers.
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid just in fraud alone. No one's for that. We've got to make sure we eliminate it. We have the algorithms now to do that. We have advanced technology to find it.
Thank God for Speaker Johnson.
That is my anger. That is my frustration. And every single person, not Asmongold, but every single Republican operative online, from Tim Pool to Libs of TikTok to many others, know that is the reality. But they also want you to be distracted. They don't want you to realize that this is what the Republicans are doing.
The same can be said for the Democrats, dude. The Democrats doing almost the same fucking tactics. Again, both Republicans and Democrats are shit. They have their shitheads. But it's just a matter of like finding the truth, the truth between both of them. Or at least what's true between both parties.
So I urge all liberals, progressives, or even people who are worried about their grandparents or their parents losing their health care, people who might be worried about their children no longer being able to...
I'm going to say this. I have a feeling that this guy doesn't actually give a shit about people, people in their healthcare. The only reason he brings it up is the fact that, again, he made a blatant call to action to have a senator killed. I think that's the biggest thing right here. The biggest takeaway is he doesn't actually care about, the people and what they're going through. He just cares about, trying to prove that he didn't say what, try to prove that he didn't say what he said.
Receive Medicaid to focus on who the vectors of harm truly are, what they're actually doing, instead of constantly...
This tribalistic freaking mentality is so fucking disgusting, man. Like, oh, this group's bad because of this, or this group is bad because of that. Like, no, it's just fucking stop, dude.
Engaging in petty squabbles. I shouldn't have used the term kill. We should have used either the term capital punishment or just punishment in general. But once again, I've let you down. I've used hyperbolic language, and that hyperbolic language has brought trouble my way. As one of the largest progressive, leftist, political content creators online, in what feels like is a sea of reactionary sentiment, I am...
Not really much reaction. I mean, there is reaction to it, but, I mean, when a lot of it is, looking at your videos, looking at your habits... I mean, it's, again, I've been using this word a lot, but blatant what you've been doing.
Promising you that I will try to use more deliberate and more careful language going forward. Having said that, of course, in an 8 to 10 hour broadcast when I'm constantly in a contentious battle with members of the chat, because there's always free flow conversation and a lot of back and forth going on in the community, there will probably be some moments that are clippable, but I will try to minimize them to the best of my ability.
I mean, dude, regardless of whether they were clippable or not, I mean, you said what you said. You made a call to action towards a senator. And yes, he was brought back onto Twitch, but in reality, I mean, by the terms of service, that should have been a permaban. That should have been a permaban, dude. And it just goes to show that Twitch doesn't give an actual fuck about their own policies. It really doesn't. So, anyway. Think that's it for now. Good lord, that was a long reaction. So, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, it's on the description down below. As well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. And I'll see you guys next video.